For 12 years, it's been the greatest mystery in the history of modern aviation. 239 people on board a state-of-the-art Boeing 777 that just vanished. After the most expensive and extensive search ever conducted failed to find the main wreckage. The world pretty much gave up hope. The file was closed. The mystery was left for the history books, a scars on the face of our technological age. But now, that's all changing. In a wild new development, the Malaysian government is backing one lost multi-million-dollar search for the lost. A final push to solve the unsolvable. I honestly can't believe I'm saying this, but the search for MH370 is back on. So why now? What's new evidence convinced them to go back after more than a decade of dead ends? And how does private robotic company think it can find what the combined might of international governments couldn't? To understand why the search is back, we have to remember why it stopped. We have to go back to the night it all began. March 8, 2014, at Kuala Lumpur International Airport, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 was getting ready for a routine red dive to Beijing. On board were 227 passengers and 12 Malaysian crew members. At 12:41 am, the Boeing 777, one of the safest planes ever built, took off. For the next 38 minutes, everything was completely normal. The plane climbed, air traffic controllers did a seamless handover, and the pilots checked in. Then at 1:19 am came the lost, now infamous words from the cockpit: "Good night, Malaysian 370." 2 minutes later, just as the plane was supposed to enter Vietnamese airspace, its transponder, the thing that tells civilian radar who and where it is, was switched off. On the screens of air traffic controllers, Flight 370 just blinked out of it. What followed was chaos. The first search mission focused on the South China Sea. The plane lost known location, but military radar record reviewed hours and days later told a different, much weirdly story. Instead of flying to Beijing, the plane had made a sharp, deliberate and back west, flying over the Malaysian peninsula and out into Strait of Malacca. It was a ghost flight, invisible to civilian radar but tracked as an undefined blip by the military. For us, the plane kept flying. We know this because of a military. For us, the plane kept flying. We know this because of British satellite company called Inmarsat. The satellites were doing automated handshakes with appliances. These weren't GPS location. Think of them more like a series of faint electronics, just confirming the plane satellites comms were still on. There were 7 of these pings. By measuring the time it took for the signals to travel, investigators created a series of huge arcs on a map where the plane must have been. The 7th and final arc, recorded over 7 hours later after takeoff, likely marks the moment the plane ran out. This data shifted the search from a South China Sea to one of the most remote places on Earth, the Southern Indian Ocean. A massive multinational search began. Ships, planes and subs from dozens of countries scoured hundreds of thousands of square kilometers of ocean floor. For nearly 3 years, they searched and they found none. In January 2017, the official search was called off, leaving the world with agonizing question: how does a 6 lakh pound aircraft just disappear? So with all those searches failing, what's different now? The answer isn't some single bombshell. It's more of a slow convergence of different sciences that have built a compelling new case for one more look. The first clues began washing ashore in July 2015, over a year after the plane vanished. On a beach on Reunion Island, thousands of kilometers from the search zone, a piece of an aircraft wing was found. Serial number soon confirmed it belonged to MH370. For the first time, there was a physical proof that plane went down in the Indian Ocean. Over the next few years, more debris either confirmed or highly likely from the plane washed up in Mozambique, Tanzania and South Africa. This debris, while tragic, was a crucial new data set. The question became, if a piece landed here, where did it start? This led to the science of drift analysis. Oceanographers ran complex computer simulations and modeling currents and winds to trace the debris backward in time. The models weren't perfect, but they consistently pointed to the probable crash site slightly north of the area searched between 2014 and 2017. It was the first big clue that they might have been looking in a wrong place. But the element that really injected a new momentum is a novel and somewhat controversial analytical technique using something called WSPR, or weak signal propagation reporter. For decades, amateur radio enthusiasts have been sending low power signals across the globe that bounce off the ionosphere. The WSPR network is a massive data set that records the path of the signals every 2 minutes. An aerospace engineer and researcher named Richard Godfrey had a radical idea. What if a huge metal object like a 777 could disturb these signals as it flew through them? He theorized the plane left a faint trail of anomalies in WSPR data from that night. For years, he analyzed millions of these records. Amazingly, he found a potential flight path that started where military radar lost the plane and ended at a crash site that lined up with a signal satellite arc and the drift analysis. While the technique is new and has its skeptics, its alignment with other known data was compelling. It was this combination, the physical debris, the drift modeling and the WSPR analysis, that created a new credible target. The first search didn't fail for lack of effort. The search area was just impossible huge. The new solution comes from a Texas-based marine robotics company called Ocean Infinity. They are changing the game. Instead of a single, slow submersible towed behind a ship, Ocean Infinity operates a fleet of autonomous underwater vehicles or AUVs. Think of a mothership deploying a swarm of smaller, smarter, faster robotics submarines. These AUVs, part of their Armada fleet, can dive to depths of 6,000 meters. Once launched, they operate on their own for days at a time, running pre-programmed search patterns. They are packed with advanced sonar that maps the sea in incredible detail, able to tell the difference between a rock and man-made wreckage. But maybe the most compelling part is the deal itself. Ocean Infinity has once again signed a no-find, no-fee contract with Malaysia. The company fronts the entire cost of the operation. They only get paid up to 17 million if they find the wreckage of MH370. If they find nothing, they get nothing. That's not just a contract, it's a massive vote for confidence in a new data. This is the same company that found the lost Argentina submarine, the ARA San Juan, in 2018 after it was missing for a year. They have proven track record. An initial phase of this new search started in late 2025 and ended in January 2026 after scanning over 140,000 square kilometers without success. But the data was strong enough that on June 29, 2026, the Malaysian government extended the agreement for another year. Until June 30, 2027, this gives Ocean Infinity time to focus on remaining highly targeted area of just over 7,400 square kilometers. This new high-tech data-driven search is happening right now. The contract is active until mid-2027. We will be following every development, so if you want to stay updated on what could be the final chapter of the MH370 story, make sure you subscribe. After 12 years, it's fair to ask, why does this still matter? Why pour more resources into a tragedy from so long ago? For 239 families, this isn't history. It's a raw, unending presence. Imagine a loved one walked out the door and just ceases to exist. No explanation, no goodbye, no resting place. The physiological torment of that is unimaginable. In announcing the search extension, Malaysia Transport Minister Anthony Loke reiterated the government's commitment to giving closure to the next of kin. Finding the wreckage is about ending the limbo. It's about giving them a place to focus the grief, a confirmation that lets the process of healing finally begin. It's about answering the question, where are they? So they can finally have some measure of peace. Beyond the human cost, the stakes for the aviation industry are still huge. Inside the wreckage are the cockpit voice recorder CVR and the flight data recorder FDR, the black boxes. The CVR holds the last 2 hours of sounds from the cockpit. The FDR records thousands of details about the plane system. Together they hold the answer to what went wrong. Was it a mechanical failure, a fire, a hypoxia event, or was it, as the deliberate turn back suggests, an act of mass murder suicide? The official 2018 safety report concluded the plane was likely deliberately manipulated, of course, but couldn't determine who was responsible or why. Finding those recorders would turn speculation into fact. The lesson learned could lead to fundamental changes in aircraft tracking and safety, making flying safer for all of us. So here we are, 12 years later, after years of silence, a combination of things, physical debris, advanced ocean modeling and compelling new analysis has pointed to a new destination of hope. A private company, Ocean Infinity, armed with a fleet of robots, is so confident that new map that they are betting millions of their own money on it. The Malaysian government extension of the no-find no-fee contract until mid-2027 is almost certainly the last best chance to solve this mystery. Success is it guaranteed? The Southern Indian Ocean is an incredibly hostile environment, but for the first time in a long time, there is a clear strategy and renewed hope. For the families who have waited with the unimaginable strength for over 4,500 days, this means everything. It's a testament to the idea that no one should be forgotten. The search windows is now open. Do you think this time will be different? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think happened to flight MH370? Thank you guys.